I need you to be as comfortable as I am with this process. So if we're not there yet, then just keep asking questions. And I'm going to keep giving more information. In the meantime, if you want to wait to contact the insurance to try to get you approved, that's totally fine because I'm not going anywhere. But in the meantime, you need to have a conversation with your agent, get a copy of your policy, and have them walk you through it. If you have any questions, particularly directly pertaining to your policy, talk to your broker or your agent with it, because you definitely want to know before storm season what policy you have, what it includes, what it doesn't include, and what your deductible is. So if you want to move forward with it right now, that's fine, but let's make sure we get kind of caught up to speed, so to speak, on what your policy looks like. We are just so fixated and almost obsessed with constantly just focusing on things that we could do better instead of putting our feet up, letting our hair down, and saying, let's just talk about how good this last month was. I think just ripping the Band-Aid off and realizing that just because you're telling someone something they might not want to hear, they need to hear it. And I think with that grows more respect. And with more respect, you're going to develop a deeper relationship. And with the relationship, you're going to get more referrals. And that's like what keeps the world go round. And roofing is just keep building relationships, and that's what it's all about.
Welcome to the Roofing Success Podcast. I'm Jim Aline, and I'm here to bring you insights from top leaders in the roofing industry to help you grow and scale your roofing business. New View Nick Royer. What's up, man?
How are you?
It's been a while since you've been on the podcast. For the audience, the story, one of our account managers at Roofer Marketers was scrolling through TikTok one day, and she's like, you got to interview this dude. And it was when you became Ferrari famous. What do you do for a living? It was when those videos came out. And man, it's been great watching you and hanging out and talking to you over the years, and getting to know you. And you got a great business that's very, very focused on the success of your sales team, and you really put your heart into it, and you put your money where your mouth is with your sales team, and you do a lot of great things. I've looked at you over the years, just like as I'm looking on the internet, like searching for companies in Dallas, and I'm like, I don't know how many thousands of reviews you have now, and like you just. So to me, that's that reflection of the customer experience that you've created, and really fantastic, man. So, for people who didn't listen to an episode from 5 years ago yet, who the heck is Nick Royer?
Yeah, I am a very blessed individual. My best friend from high school, Mike, him and I started this business. This is our 13th year. We moved here from Cleveland, Ohio to do roofing for another roofing company. So we had the opportunity to really kind of learn a lot about the business before we just ventured off on our own. So I'm sure that's probably a common story that you get, right, with roofing company owners. But we worked for that company for just over a year, and then we just made the jump. We made the leap that we felt like we could do a better job than what we were being taught. Dallas is a great market for roofing. It's just like anything else. It's a great market because we get storms, but with that comes a lot of competition. So you really have to be constantly trying to do things to differentiate yourself from the competition. And the thing I love about roofing is that it doesn't require a college degree, because I didn't get into college. It requires like all the basic necessities of just being good in any business. And we all know that, right? You gotta be hardworking, personable, disciplined, gotta have good structure, hold yourself accountable, hold your team accountable. It's all about your team and how good your team is. That's really what pays off in the end. But Mike and I just made a commitment that we didn't want to grow too big too fast. We don't like require to have 100 reps or even 50 reps. We just want really good guys. If that means taking on one good guy a year, that means that we're going to take on one good guy a year. We have 26 project managers right now. So if you think about it, we're averaging 2 project managers a year since company's inception. So last year was our worst year in 5 years, and we did just over 24 million. So if you would have told me when we started the business 13 years ago, hey, 12 years from now, you're going to have the worst year you've had in several years, and it's going to be 24 million, I would have said, sign me up, right? So it's a grind. It's the long play, but roofing in the Dallas market, in the Texas market in particular, in terms of the insurance claims, you have to have the ability to constantly pivot, make adjustments, roll with the punches, so to speak, and just like keep pushing on. And there have been so many shifts, turns, and changes and tweaks in the industry with deductibles and premiums and appraisals. I mean, there's things that I'm doing right now that it didn't exist when I started. I mean, like appraisals weren't a thing. Now, I mean, last month, personally, I had 5 roofs approved from appraisal that took like 3 to 4 months to approve. Well, 10 years ago, that wasn't a thing. It didn't exist. 10 years ago, it's common for people to have deductibles of $1,000. Now deductibles, it's more common now to have a deductible of 2%. So if you have $1 million house, which is common in Dallas,
Mhm.
Texas, that's a
Mhm.
$20,000 deductible. Like this is like, so now it's like your presentation, the conversation you have to have with the client has to completely shift. The expectation you have to have completely shifts. And then insurance carriers, um, it's like Forrest Gump, like a box of chocolates. Like you never know what you're going to get. There's some carriers that are beyond a blessing to work with. It's like a privilege working with the adjusters. And then other insurance companies, I mean, in my opinion, they have incredibly unethical business practices. So I don't need to say their names because that's not going to serve
Yeah.
anyone, but like it is what it is. So I'm not here, like stomping my feet, pouting about it. Like it is what it is. We're 13 years in the game. We're averaging over 1,700 replacements a year. And I'm traveling the country doing commercial projects all over the country from different general contractors or just direct to owner relationships that I've established. So, I mean, I love it. I love it. I have a lot of fun. I've got such a good group of guys that are with me, and we're doing it. But like I said, there's a lot of twists and turns you got to be able to go through right now that we weren't exposed to years ago. So.
Yeah. What part of the business feels most unrecognizable today?
I just think the denial of claims in the appraisal process, like it's almost like I when I meet a client based on who their carrier is when I inspect the roof, I have to now set the expectation that even though there's a strong chance your roof's going to get denied, it's actually going to get approved once we invoke the appraisal process. And they're like, that doesn't make any sense. And I'm like, I know it doesn't. So let me walk you through it. If the insurance adjuster tells you that there's nothing wrong with the roof, that the integrity hasn't been compromised, that everything is totally fine, he's just I'm just going to professionally disagree with their assessment because I could give you over 50 neighbors in a quarter mile vicinity that live here that they all had enough damage. So don't like take the bait, so to speak, and just let me represent you and kind of facilitate the process. And you got to get them to trust you and believe in you, just like anything else, and it works. So that I would say that's the biggest kind of eye opener that we've had to
What
shift through.
that's definitely a huge shift, right? And it's
Yeah.
pushing the claim out for full replacement and really getting that, having a challenging environment. You know, homeowners in the DFW know that they're probably going to wait till the next storm to get their roof replaced, right? They're trained to do that unless there's something really
Yeah.
happening. Like they're trained to do that. Um, but sometimes that's 5 years, 8 years, 10 years, right? Like
Yeah. You never know.
before before it comes through their area again.
Right.
How are you managing those customer expectations? You mentioned that a little bit. How are you having those conversations with the homeowner that's like, "Hey, I did this, 5 years ago. I did this 10 years ago, and this was how it went."
Yeah.
How are you managing that, and how are you communicating that and helping your sales reps communicate that?
Uh, you kind of cut out for a second. Yeah. I like to make sure that my clients, that the homeowners are very well educated about their policy. I think that's another really big shift that we've went through these last few years is, listen, you thought you had a RCV policy, but you really don't. Hey, you thought you had 1% so, but you really don't. Hey, you thought that AAA included everything on the property, but there's a marring exclusion where all metals are excluded. So I tell clients, listen, I I need you to be as comfortable as I am with this process. So if we're not there yet, then just keep asking questions and I'm gonna keep giving more information. But in the meantime, if you want to wait to contact the insurance to try to get you approved, that's totally fine because I'm not going anywhere. But in the meantime, You need to have a conversation with your agent, get a copy of your policy, and have them walk you through it. If you have any questions, particularly directly pertaining to your policy, talk to your broker or your agent with it because you definitely want to know before storm season what policy you have, what it includes, what it doesn't include, and what your deductible is. So if you want to move forward with it right now, that's fine. But let's make sure we get kind of caught up to speed, so to speak, on what your policy looks like. Because I it's like heartbreaking news when you tell a homeowner, like, well, yeah, I mean, I told you I could do all the work for, X, Y, and Z, but your insurance isn't including to replace the gutters. And your deductible isn't 1%, it's 3%. It's like 3%. If I would have known that, like I don't have $30,000 just like liquid, just plain on roof replacement. It's like, no, so I think the biggest thing is telling clients, like, just make sure you're well aware of what you're getting. You're like currently what you have, but also when you go to re-up the policy, if it looks too good to be true,
Mm.
a lot of times it is. So just if you have a broker agent just saying, I have a great policy with a great price, the premium is so low. It's like, well, why is the premium so low? Oh, that's right. Your deductible is
'Cause
5%. Like, 8 years ago, the average premium, and we can fact check me, but like as a homeowner, I mean, the average premium I feel was like 3 grand a year. And now I feel like the average is north of 6 grand a year. I mean, and we're talking law of averages here.
yeah,
So that's a big shift.
it's a big difference. Like
Yeah.
that's a that how many how many homeowners are hitting a wall on that and they're like, I can't even do it. And then how are you managing that?
I think there's a decent amount. I mean, there's
Yeah.
definitely a good amount when we're doing the volume that we're doing.
Yeah.
Um, we're more likely to get a lot more no's, but that's why it's important to keep getting the word out there and keep networking, marketing, door knocking. I'm out in the field 3 to 5 days, 3 to 4 days a week, like consistent door knocking. But in terms of like the claims process, it's getting more and more common. I think, in my opinion, I think we're a little bit spoiled from the perspective of Dallas, Texas. It's a booming, it's a very attractive market where more people are moving to Dallas. They're not moving away from Dallas. So when you drive around, like you might hear the, nationwide averages of home sales or new construction. It's like that might be applicable to other markets, but in Dallas, I mean, every day I'm seeing a new plot of land get, a new excavation company demoing out a new plot of land to build 3, 4, or 600 more houses. Like there's a
Yeah.
bank over here that's financing the developer and the builder, and like there's houses that are consistently building put up, and there's skyscrapers on every street corner, and I'm in the suburbs, not to mention like downtown Dallas. So like I think we've got this very well protected bubble, in my opinion, of like we're a little bit
Mm.
spoiled. People are still buying, selling houses, and we're constantly building more, which creates new business in the long run. But you've got to be much more educated as a contractor about like what you're getting yourself into, you know.
Yeah, definitely. How have you changed your processes to manage the new kind of deny and appraisal process, versus, get the check and go?
I think just setting expectation. I think back in the day,
Yeah.
like when I first started, I was so scared to tell a homeowner something that they didn't want to hear, but then I just lose that rapport and the credibility. As opposed to now, I just flat out tell them, this is what I think is going to happen. When we get the insurance out, they could say yes, but there's a very strong chance they might say no, and I'm going to tell you why. I kind of compare it to like if I go up on a roof and like today, for example, I got a roof approved. I'm sorry, not approved, but I looked at the roof and I filed a claim this morning with Travelers Insurance for my client. And I was knocking I'm replacing a client's roof. So 2 doors down, got the lead from knocking the doors. I go up on the roof to inspect the roof. The roof has plenty of hail, but the chimney is like really like it's beat to crap. Just rotted trim, rotted siding. So I told the homeowner, I'm gonna show you pictures of what this looks like. So when I get the roof approved, which I'm confident that I will, this is something that unfortunately is not included in the insurance scope work, and I'm going to tell you why. They categorize this. That's what's called wear and tear. It didn't happen from storm damage. It's just from wear and tear through the years. So don't be upset with the adjuster and don't be offended if they're not including us to replace your chimney. However, as an additional service, I could give you a price to do that because unfortunately it's not included. So that's a good thing too, is setting the expectation because I don't want my client to call me in 6 months and say the roof is leaking. And then I go out and go, oh, that's not the roof. it's the chimney. And then the client, rightfully so, will go, well, then why didn't you tell me that 6 months ago when you
Why
replaced the
didn't you?
roof? And
That's
I go,
right.
I don't know, because I don't want to tell you it's going to cost $1,200 out of your pocket to replace and paint it. And they're like, well, it would have prevented from where we're at right now. So I think just ripping the band-aid off and realizing that just because you're telling someone something they might not want to hear, they need to hear it. And I think with that grows more respect. And with more
Yeah.
respect, you're going to develop a deeper relationship. And with the relationship, you're going to get more referrals. And that's like what keeps the world go around. And roofing is
That's what
just keep
that's
building
what this
relationships.
business
And that's what it's all about.
That's the referrals are what it's about. We did a Job Nimbus did their yearly report on the industry, and I think it was something like 95% of contractors say their number one source of business is referrals, right? And so, but to get referrals, you got to do good business, right?
Yeah.
Like you have to take care of people. You have to set proper expectations.
Mhm.
What I heard you say is sometimes there's what a conversation that people would avoid or a hard conversation.
Yeah.
So instead of telling that homeowner this is what needs to be done, I'm going to avoid that conversation. I'm going to move on so that I just get this going. I get my check and I move on. How how do you approach that from the sales perspective and from a sales training perspective to make sure that your team has the same attitude? Like I'm going to tell these people what's what.
Yeah.
I need to say this out loud to them to make
Yeah.
sure that they understand. How do you convey that and make sure that your team also is doing the same thing?
I just reflect exactly my personal experiences. And wh- that's why I That's why I think our team operates so well is because my business partner and I have completely separate roles with the company. He handles all of
Mm.
the operations of the company, and I'm out in the field every day pursuing new business, working on my personal book of business, and I'm in the field with my project managers literally every single day knocking doors. And so it's easier to explain, talk to, and relate to my project managers when I'm saying, hey, so 5 times in the last month I ran into this situation. I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna walk you through exactly what I did to get over it. So I meet with a few of my sales guys weekly. We work out together, we grab coffee, talk about mental like wellness, but also I'm sorry, mental health. And then we just talk about just some things that we need help navigating with work, and we give specific concrete stories and examples of things that we recently went through. So I think it really helps when I'm out in the field and I reflect with my team, hey, so this is what happened to me and this is how I kind of help. This is what I did to navigate through it. So if you run into this, this is how I handled it. So I think that helps a lot.
Now that you have some other real experienced, team members, is it kind of everyone is contributing to this now? It's not just Nick's the only answer. How have you developed the team culture to so that everyone is bringing their these things to the table and saying, "Oh, I did this way, and I had this happen, and I handled it this way."
Yeah. But that's why I would say we're incredibly like not harsh, but selective with our sales team. I mean, it's like a grueling process to like come on board with to work with us. And so once they get through the process, it's kind of like an initiation, right? Where we're not like hazing them, but I mean, I'm gonna like put them through like the ringer and see how many weeks they're gonna be good with showing up on time, being punctual, looking professional, knocking doors, doing everything they said that they'd be willing to do. And so once they get into like the family, so to speak, everyone has something very valuable to contribute. So, I mean, I'm not the best project manager in the company. Everyone knows that. I might sell the most, but that doesn't make me the best all around project manager. I mean, I could name 5 other of our project managers that are way better than me in terms of just managing their jobs. But that's why I bring on really, really good guys. I get them on board and I get them open and willing to talk about their experience and how they do things a little bit different, to the team. So everyone's benefiting.
Does your team do cradle to grave? Like everything they sell, they manage all the way through? How do you
Yeah.
structure that? Yep.
Yeah. Everyone's
Yep.
everyone's just responsible for their own book of business. Myself and a few of the other guys that are more like high volume sales guys, we have our own like personal assistant that handles our personal admin stuff so we can make it like sustainable. But yeah.
How important do you think it is that you're still on the climbing the ladder, that you're still knocking the doors? How do you feel that impacts your team on a day-to-day basis.
Before we carry on with the episode, let's give a shout out to one of our sponsors. Roofers, let's get real. You're great at building roofs, but are you great at building a steady stream of leads? That's where Job Nimbus Marketing comes in. They know the roofing industry inside and out, and they'll help you dominate Google, Facebook, reputation management, and everything in between. If you want more quality leads, more booked jobs, and more growth, visit the link in the description or the sponsors page on the Roofing Success Podcast website. I talk to contractors every day that feel stuck. Not because they're not working hard, but because they're missing the structure to growth without chaos. Or their culture's falling apart because their team's unclear, unaligned, or just burned out. And when change hits, they're reacting instead of leading because time and priorities aren't under their control. Day 41 Thrive helps to fix that with proven strategies for growth, culture, and leadership that actually work. Ready to thrive beyond the storm? Visit the link in the description or visit the Roofing Success Podcast website on the sponsors page to start your journey today.
How important do you think it is that you're still on the climbing the ladder, that you're still knocking the doors? How do you feel that impacts your team on a day-to-day basis?
Me personally, I think it helps a lot. I think it helps from a respect level, but also kind of sitting back and observing other roofing companies that I know of, where I know like the owner that aren't physically out in the field pursuing sales and a book of business. I think that's how I see the value is I see how impactful it is from other companies where I see a lot of guys leaving because they reflect with me and say, hey, I can't get a hold of my owner because he's always on vacation. Okay. I can't get a hold of my owner because, because this, and that. And I'm like, okay, I'm glad that I'm here, like in the trenches with the team. So personally, I think it makes a big difference. And I love it. I'm proud to do it.
Yeah, so that I could see that, like that definitely that the communication with the team, if you're not available, that's not it's not a good thing, right?
Yeah.
If the if you can't answer the questions of your team
Yeah.
and help move them along. Um, Another thing I thought of, and you could give me your opinion on this or not, but like um, as things have changed, if you're the owner that's not involved, I think it may be harder for you to adapt and adjust. Oh, because you're not
Yeah.
dealing with the claim at the same time, right? Like you're not in it
Mhm.
in it. And not that every owner should, be a sales rep, but you have a great partner
Mhm.
that right. And so you guys balance each other out
Yeah.
in that regard, right?
Yeah.
Um, I
But
want to talk about, oh, go
Mhm.
ahead.
I was going to piggyback that real quick from the perspective of like when I first started in the roofing like 15 years ago. I mean, yes, it's overwhelming. No matter what you do in life, when you start a new position, a new career, it's going to be
Yeah.
overwhelming because you don't know. You only know what you know, and in roofing, there's a lot of details that go along with it. But I'm just looking at the big picture of what I have, what I would have to know now, what would be required to know now about roofing is so much lengthier and more
Mm,
detailed than what it was 15 years ago when I started. So I could only imagine if I'm new into roofing and I'm not getting the proper training and knowledge base starting off, there's no way I'm going to make it more than a month or two. You know what I mean? Just
yeah.
in terms of like the difference of like, I just feel like it was so much more black and white 15 years ago. It's like you got hail or you don't. You either gets approved or you don't, and then that's it. Now with supplements, with appraisals, with deductibles changing, with there's so many more things that are required to know in roofing now that if you don't have that constant and consistent training, there's no way you're going to make it. Like there's no way.
And you're in an area without licensing, without it, so you guys are, it's the wild west for sure. Do you think that the progression of the industry in this direction has led to a somewhat of a barrier to entry? Have you
Yeah.
seen a filtering process at all? I mean, there's probably still not less contractors in the DFW, but like,
Yeah.
uh,
I
but
no, I kind of think like with the pri with the impact that private equity companies are making, I just feel like the the big companies are getting even bigger and the small companies are kind of just getting like washed out. Now, that doesn't mean that there's not still a heavy flow of new roofing companies
Yeah.
starting, but as far as the barrier to entry, nah, because we don't require license and there's not like some
Yeah.
crazy test like it is in Florida, which I appreciate. I don't think like the barrier to entry isn't any harder, but at the same time, the companies that don't really have like the bandwidth and the infrastructure to like go the distance and fight claims, those are the companies that I see are going
Mm.
out of business even quicker, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What what systems did you have to build at New View that you think a lot of contractors resist building to keep this to get to multiple 8 figures?
Mm, I think I think it all falls on the sales guy, recruiting, hiring and recruiting a guy that has good
Mm.
character, good discipline, but also like utilizing the CRM. Like the CRM that we have, like it's so amazing. They keep coming up with more and more things to manage your jobs better. I think that's the big thing too, is making sure you find a good CRM that really fits and accommodates like your company and like your clients more so.
Yeah, definitely. The technology behind it, it creates the efficiencies and
Yeah.
things like that, by far.
Yeah.
Um, how do you find those 2 a year? The 2 right ones, right? Like, how do
Yeah.
you find and it hasn't been exactly 2 a year, I'm
Yeah.
sure,
Yeah.
for the you know what I mean? But, like,
Yeah.
how do you find those what's that vetting process? What's the what's how do you know that that they're that they're that they are worth putting your time and effort into? Because you have
Mhm.
an opportunity cost, right? You have an opportunity cost to go sell yourself. You have an opportunity cost to hire someone else. When is it when is it valuable to put your time into that individual?
I don't have like an exact like formula or algorithm that I follow, but the majority of the guys of our project managers are either very personal, like friends and relationships that I've had for years that I take on. But if it's just a complete like new person, more times than not, it's someone reaching out to me on social media. Hey, I've been following you for a while, right? It's never, hey, I saw this one post from you this morning and I'm interested. It's always, hey, I've had like an eye on you for the last 6 months. Hey, for the last 2 years, I've been watching you and it seems like you have like a solid company. So I'd love to like talk to you about an opportunity. I really pay attention to how many times they follow up with me until I make an appointment. And then once I meet with a potential candidate, like project manager, I'll go on like several coffee meetings to really kind of vet out like what they're doing. Or I'm sorry, if they're a good fit and
Yeah.
like that. So it's no like, oh, we had one good coffee meeting. Let's get this guy a polo and get him on the field today. It's like, no, no, no. I mean, I tell guys like, listen, if you don't have 6 months of like liquid, like of reserve saved up, then until you get to that point, don't come on board. And you should see that. I mean, guys, their jaws will drop and their eyes look like they are popping out of their head like I'm not gonna get paid for 6 months. I'm like, it could be 8. I'm just conservatively speaking, listen, this is a great time to be in
Yeah.
roofing, but if you think you could just hit the ground running and you just got a paycheck coming in a few weeks, you are so far mistaken. Well, that's a mistake that I made years ago. When I first started the company, it was, yeah, let's go, let's go, let's go. I'm gonna teach you how to knock doors and let's go. And then they knock doors, they get a sale and they, build the roof, we replace the roof and they're like, so I get paid like next week or what? And I'm like, oh, that's right. I didn't tell you. We got to wait to do the gutters and then stain the fence and then send the final invoice. And then we got to follow up every day for the insurance company for 2, 3 weeks. So like you should get paid in a month. And guys are going, buddy, I can't make it a month. Okay. So now I just tell everyone 6 months. You're not going to get a penny for 6 months. It might be sooner, but
Yeah.
6 months. And that's if you start grinding on day one. That's if you're just out aggressively working friends, family, neighbors, door knocking, all that stuff, getting leads. So that's the difference.
I got a couple things I want to talk to you about now too. This leads into a few things. I was going a different direction, but now I want to talk about this. Friends, family, neighbors. What is what is that first when you're coming into this business as a new owner, as a new, as a new rep?
Mhm.
I think people they they step over their relationships that they currently have and go and
Yeah.
try and find business.
Yeah.
I heard you say, no, no, no. No, let's start there. Let's
Oh,
start
yeah.
with those friends, family. Speak to that a little bit, the
Well,
importance of that.
that's one of the big things that I've noticed when I take on a new guy. I think it's very close as an owner to look at if you take on a new guy, what book of business are they starting with? Right. So think about this in an interview process. You can't really say this because you sound arrogant, but you want to come across that you build relationships, that you're very personable, that people like you because why? And people are going to buy from people that they know, they like, and they trust. Right. Those are like like strong characteristics you need in a strong project manager. So if I bring someone on and they tell me how they've got a great friend group and they've got a lot of family and they're very supportive, in my head, I'm like, buddy, that's like 10 inspections right there. Like, you know what I mean?
That's right.
So
Yeah.
it's like I go back to my roots. I mean, when I played Little League Baseball every year, when the season started, you got assigned to your team, you picked up your jersey, and then you got a box of chocolate candy bars. And it's your responsibility to sell those candy bars to like that was like what you did. And so the first thing I did was I came home and I just got on the phone book and I just called my aunts and uncles, right? Like that's the first people I go to. And then when I got off
First
the
thing.
phone, I would go knock doors and I would go to all my neighbors. And I loved all my neighbors. It was very like community driven like area. And like my box of candy bars was done like in a week or two. It's no different. As adults, we just lose that creativity, but we use like that common sense too, where it's like, buddy, stick to the basics. Like, go to your friends and family. Hey, I just partnered with a local roofing company. They're 5-star related. There's 5-star rated. Excuse me. They've been in business for 13 years. There's 1,000 reviews on Google. Um, how old is your roof? Is it like more than 5, 6, 7, 8 years old? Yeah, it's about 8 years old. Great. Well, let me come by sometime this week, take a look at the roof. You might be okay, but in the event my owner and myself, because he's going to train me, think you have enough damage, I might be able to get you a new roof where your only out of pocket is the deductible. Oh, great. Well, that's it. Now, if you have 3 family members or 33, like that needs to be the call. So if I have a new guy come on and I'm like, buddy, don't you have like 4 brothers and a bunch of cousins here? Why aren't we on their roof already? I think that's a big indicator that like, maybe they're not that good at building relationships, or maybe people really don't
Mm,
trust them that much. Because like we all had that one friend where, hey, I just started with a new company. Oh, here we go again. Like job hopper. Like, buddy, this is your 4th job in 5 years. So it's like I think those are little things that I paid attention to in the last few years of like
yeah.
if you were born and raised in Dallas, you've been here for the last 28 years of your life, how do you not have like 20 people to go help out? That's one thing that's a really good thing that you brought up.
Yeah, that's a big one, man. And it blows me away how I don't know if it's like they're from an owner. I see it on the new owner perspective and from new sales reps, but it's from the new owner perspective. I feel like it's like, oh, I don't want to disappoint them, or I don't want to I don't want to have do a bad job, or but I'm like, man, who are these? Are the people that know you, like you, and trust you. Like they're the ones that'll give you a little grace. Like
Yeah. They're
like,
gonna be the customer. They're gonna be the ones that give you the benefit of the doubt and say, listen, I love
that's
you,
right.
but like if you weren't my nephew, like I would be going off on you like a busted nose, but you've got to do a little better job of this, that, or this,
That's
or
right.
hey, I picked
Yep.
up 5 nails in my yard. And then the guy calls me and goes, hey, he's freaking out because they picked up 5 nails. Okay, well, that's 5 too many, but let's just put things in perspective. I'm not justifying a client, anyone picking up 5 nails in the yard. I'm just saying, in the grand scheme, if we took off 10,000, he found 5, we're not doing that bad. But this teaches us that we need to do a better
That's right.
walkthrough after the job is done. And we need to make sure that they're satisfied with the cleanliness after we do the job. So yeah, it's all learning
Another
curve.
Yeah, another thing I remember, and I know that you hold your team to very high standards. And I want you to speak to those standards a little bit, from the way that they dress and approach life, even almost, right? Speak to that a little bit, and how you feel that that has impacted your team.
I know you're enjoying the episode, but let's give a shout out to another one of our sponsors. If you and your team aren't trained on AI yet, you're already falling behind. Competitors using AI are generating more leads, closing jobs faster, and running leaner. The AI roofing revolution gives your team the training to implement AI so you stay ahead, not scramble to catch up. Don't wait until you're losing. Get trained now at the link in the description or the sponsors page of the Roofing Success Podcast website.
And I want you to speak to those standards a little bit, from the way that they dress and approach approach life, even almost, right? Speak to that a little bit and how you feel that that has impacted your team.
I think one of the basics of differentiating yourself in the roofing industry, which is it's a mind-blowing example I'll give you, is actually dressing professional. I take a lot of pride in how we dress and how we present ourselves. I get constant compliments from not only homeowners and clients, but insurance adjusters of, you guys dress better than we do. And it's like, well, you work for $1 billion company, buddy. Like, I don't see what the excuse you guys have. But I think one thing to differentiate yourself in this business is taking a lot of pride in how you like look and present yourself. And it's simple, it's easy, but that's one of the things I really harp on is just being honest, always speaking with integrity, being transparent, but also the way we dress and present ourselves.
Yeah. It's crazy, right? Like, it's crazy the way that people show up at someone's house.
I
I
mean, it's not very often I see other roofers out like door knocking at the same time I am, but when I am, I'm like, who let them out? I mean, we're talking like t-shirt and basketball shorts looking like they're about to play a pickup game. Like,
Yeah.
who's taking these people on?
Well, it's the spray and pray method, Nick. It's the hire anyone and hope for the best method. It's
Yeah.
the lazy way. You've had a successful partnership for these years, and I know this was you've partnered with someone that you've known for a long time, which could be good or bad, right? Like, I'm sure there's, what's some advice? You always hear the horror stories of partnerships. What has made your partnership successful?
I think just like any other relationship, you've got to like with your spouse, you have to constantly be aligned of what your goals are. I think that's the first thing. If you're trying to go one way and he's trying to go the other way, that's going to be really hard. So I think being aligned in terms of like what your vision is with the company, I think that's number one. Number
Mm.
two, it's work ethic. I mean, like you guys both have to be committed. Partners have to be committed to just working hard because that's where resentment is going to start, right? Hey, I haven't gotten a hold of you in the last 3 weeks. What have you been doing? Because I've been out doing this. All right. So I think that alignment is number one. You have to match each other's work ethic. And then from there, it's just trust. I mean, the true measure of a man, according to a Navy SEAL, is can I trust you with my money and can I trust you with my girl? Right. That's like the true measure of how much can I trust this man. So with a business partner, it's like that. Right.
Yeah.
So it's like the most intensified trust you have to have is when you have a company together.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, so I think that's it.
And I had a success with a business partner over the years, and I feel the same way in a lot of things, and especially the shared vision of where you're going.
Mhm.
Um, you know, 13 years ago when you started New View, here's the comment you made, or to paraphrase it. If I knew that 24 million was going to be a bad year, right?
Yeah,
Sign me up, right?
yeah.
And so, um, like, you guys probably couldn't even imagine what this has become. How have you stayed? How have you still continued to share that vision?
I think we are just so fixated and almost obsessed with constantly just focusing on things that we could do better instead of putting our
Mhm.
feet up, letting our hair down, and saying, let's just talk about how good this last month was, right? Like we have one time a year that we truly and genuinely celebrate our year, and that's at the annual awards banquet where we get dressed up, we have a nice meal, we give out awards, everyone gives a speech, talk about, just how appreciative they are and, talk about their success, and that's it. Like that's it. It's like after winning a championship, like there's one parade. You don't you don't parade through downtown of your city for a month straight. It's like
Yeah.
you celebrate, you acknowledge and honor the win, and then you just get back to it. And I think that we don't like just sit around and just talk about how good we are. We just are 99.999% of the time. We're just constantly coming up with ways to improve our systems and
Yeah.
get better. So that's it.
And what are some of the biggest lessons you've learned over the years that like maybe they felt like the biggest problems you've ever faced, and now you look back and you're like, oh man, we got through that. That was a good one, but we made it through, and this is why we made it through. Maybe.
I think that with the confidence that we have, the more confident you are, the more, I don't know if there's a parallel, but like with clients, because I set the expectation and I'm so transparent with what to expect, I tell clients this is the best thing that's going to happen and this is the worst thing that's going to happen. If the worst possible thing that happens is I puncture a Freon line, I'm going to have it fixed within 2 hours. Okay. Besides that, from there, we're sailing in the sunset. I know it's gonna look messy, but we're gonna clean it up. I know it's gonna be loud. It's only gonna last a day. But like if the worst possible thing is I puncture a Freon line, which by the way, let me try to prevent that from looking at your attic, like we're doing okay because you're getting a new roof out of it. So I think that that is the biggest thing is just being confident and comfortable to tell your clients and lay out them expectations, good and bad.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think a winning roofing company looks like over the next 3 to 5 years? Like 3 to 5 years from now, with all the changes that are happening.
Like generally speaking, what a
Yeah,
roofing
like what?
company?
Yeah, what changes do you guys see in the future? Like, how are you going to have to make adjustments for the next 3 years to still be relevant and successful in the next 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, I think partnering, not partnering, but like building more relationships with insurance adjusters and
Huh.
agents to help their clients. Same thing with realtors and real estate brokers, and that's going to help a lot. But I think that coming up, constantly improving our systems with the denial process is going to really catapult us to like that next level of success. And the only way we do that is by getting up to date with like the right verbiage to use.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
it's gonna-
yeah. What man, you have a great mind. You seem to have like this mindset, right? Like your mindset is so optimistic and like what mindset shift have you had to make over the years, or and that you help your team make those mindset shifts to keep this thing like just trucking along the way you have?
I my my go-to is always fitness. I'm extremely passionate about fitness and health and wellness and how I could just be as corny as it is, like 1% better every day. I want to always look and feel my best. But with that, there is no end. And that's kind of like that David Goggins, like like the motivational person I listen to. It's like it is so humbling to understand the premise that if you have a goal to do something with your body, to look a certain way or have a certain accomplishment, like run, a marathon. Well, if you accomplish or when you accomplish that goal, you don't just stop. And that is
Mm,
so hard to grasp is, wait a minute. So when I accomplish my goal, I'm gonna do everything I can. I'm gonna eat the right way. I'm gonna work out the right way. I'm gonna recover the right way. And then when I accomplish the goal, you mean I'm just not done? Well, no, you're not done. You're not just gonna like do this and then just sit on the couch, eat potato chips all day, and then gain 50 pounds just so you could just talk about how you did that one thing 5, 10, 15 years ago. So in roofing, it's like there is no end. There is and always will be new things to improve on with your book of business, with your clients, with the systems, with the process. And I think that mentality has got us to where we're at. I'm telling you right now that once a couple suburbs that we have a strong book of business in hit with hail, I'm telling you, we're going to record it right now, but I think we're going to do 60.
awesome, man. Thanks for your time today. This has been another episode of the Roofing Success Podcast.
Thank you for tuning into the Roofing Success Podcast. For more valuable content, visit roofingsuccesspodcast.com. While there, check out our sponsors for exclusive offers, shop for merchandise, and sign up for our newsletter for industry updates and tips. Also, join the Roofing Success Facebook group to connect with other professionals and stay updated on the latest trends. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, like, share, and leave a comment. Your support helps us continue to bring you top industry insights. The website link is in the description. Thanks for listening.